how are you doing? I hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm Vera and welcome to my channel. On here, I read out stories that I've received from my followers and subscribers, stories in need of your advice and opinions. And I have new stories for you today. We just hit 7,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the love and support. And I really appreciate it. Now, if you've not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button right now and like this video. Also, don't forget to hit the notification button so that anytime I post, you'll be notified immediately. Now get comfortable and relax. I've got you. Without further delay, let's get right into it. Story number 1. Last year, I received an order that I thought was going to change my life. But that order almost ended my life. Now, I sell luxury wigs and I also do makeup on the side. I began the luxury wig business in January last year. At first, my business was doing great, and even though I was not getting lots of orders, I had regular customers who keep coming back. Then somewhere in April, my mom got seriously sick. My big brother was not stable financially at the time, and so he asked me to use my money for the hospital bills and that he will pay me back once he gets money. The only money I had available was the money from my business. But this is my mom we are talking about. And so I took out all my money and used it for her treatment. By God's grace, the treatment helped and she got better. Now, the money I took really affected my business. People wanted to buy the wigs, but the wigs they wanted were not in stock since I had not been able to restock due to lack of money. I was just supporting myself by doing makeup, but even that, people were not really booking me like that. It was in late June that my brother finally gave me back my money. I restocked immediately and contacted all those who wanted to buy the wigs before, but they had already bought them elsewhere. My regular customers were also not coming back, and so my business was very slow. I was really struggling to sell the wigs this time around. And like I said before, all my money had gone into this new restock. Then early July, I woke up to a message on my WhatsApp. This lady wanted to purchase 4 luxury wigs for herself and 3 luxury wigs for her friend. Hey, I couldn't believe my eyes. My heart started beating. I felt this order was a miracle from God, like things were finally changing for me. Now, she wanted delivery before payment, and even though I do delivery before payment sometimes, this order was too big for me to take that chance. All the wigs she was buying was 16,000 cedis plus, and so there was no way I was going to do delivery before payment. I knew she came from my Insta page because of the screenshots she sent me. I told her I was genuine because I had proof on my page. I told her to pay first or come to my shop for them, but she told me she was very busy. Also, where she was staying was quite far, like an hour away from my shop. I really wanted this money. This was a huge order, and I didn't want to F it up. She said the money was too big for her to send it without seeing the wigs first. Then my assistant came up with an idea. Why don't we deliver the order ourselves instead of through the usual delivery channel? That way, if there's any funny business, we will just return back with the wigs. This was a great idea. Also, my brother was a policeman, and I decided to ask him to drive us to the place should in case we are going to be needing his assistance. When I told her I would be delivering the wigs myself with my assistance, she loved the idea. That way, she can see I'm genuine. Immediately after talking to her, she sent me 1,000 cedis. She said we should use some for our transportation and that she will pay us the rest of the money once we get there. The fact that she just sends the money without me asking immediately showed me that she was a genuine person. Because if I was fake, I would just take the money and not give her anything. Now, the night before the delivery, she contacted me again. She said she wanted me to fix 2 of the wigs on her and her friend and also do their makeup for an event. The next day, my brother came to pick us up. I didn't even care whether he came along because at this point, I already believed the woman was for real. This woman lived in a huge house and my brother told us to go in and that he would be waiting outside. He asked me to text him after 5 minutes and that if he doesn't hear from me by then, he will be coming inside himself. My brother is very protective. I nodded and proceeded to walk towards the house with my assistant. The woman met us at the gate and she was very friendly. She asked us to come in. When we entered into the main house, a friend was sitting on the sofa, drinking wine and watching TV. She smiled when she saw us and told us to make her look beautiful for the event. I smiled and told her to trust me. Now, all this while, the wigs were with me. I have not given it to them and they've also not asked for them. She asked us if we wanted water. I shook my head no, but my assistant nodded. Let's call the lady who ordered the wig G and her friend C. G gave us a place to set up. I texted my brother and told him everything is good and that he can go. He said he had a friend in the area and so he will go and hang out with him and then come back and pick us up once we are done. Even after telling him we were okay, he still said he will wait for 30 minutes more before he left. I started working on G first. She chose the wig she wanted, but C wanted to see how the wig would look on her first before she chose the wig she wanted to install. So she took the bag of wigs inside, and at this point, I had already started working on G. Everything was great. I was chatting with G, and she was so sweet. There were no red flags whatsoever. And so when the 30 minutes came, I asked my brother to go and that we were okay. Now, C was still not back, but I didn't care because after all, G was still with us. I think about 20 minutes after telling my brother to go, G received a phone call and she stood up immediately and told us to excuse her. She walked inside the house as she spoke on the phone. My legs were tired and so I sat down. I could still hear G on the phone inside the house, and then all of a sudden I couldn't hear her anymore. The whole house got very silent, but I still didn't think much of this. But after 5 minutes, when G was still not back, I started getting worried. I told my assistant to go and knock on the door they both entered into and tell them time was going since we had another place to go. This was about 15 minutes after G left to receive a call. My assistant was going when I decided to go myself. I knocked on the door several times, but there was no response. At this point, my heart was beating fast in my chest. Something felt off, but I didn't know at the time the kind of people I was dealing with and what they do. I opened the door and there was nobody there. I was about to step inside when I saw C coming from the other side of the house holding a wig. She apologized for the delay and told me to begin since G was still talking on the phone. My heart started to calm down. I started the install on C, and after about 30 minutes, there was a knock on the door. She excused herself to go answer it. She came back with 4 packs of food. She told us she had ordered them when she had gone into the room. She had bought one for both my assistant and I. All the packs were sealed. I thanked her and my assistant started eating hers. C also ate hers whilst I installed a wig. And throughout this period, G was still not back. Now, since we got there, Jean had only spoken English with C. Like no other language, just English. Since my assistant and I were from different tribes, we also spoke only English. I was almost done with C's install when G came in. The two of them started chatting about the events they were going to. At this point, I was done with C's wig. I asked her if I should continue with the makeup, but she asked me to finish with Jean's install first. G's install was almost done, and so this didn't take time. This was when strange things started happening. They asked me to eat first before I continued with the makeup, but I told them I was okay. And I just wanted to finish with everything fast, take my money and leave. I started with C's makeup, and I was still working on her eyebrows when she said something to G in another language. Now, like I said, these two people have been speaking English since we got there. G responded back in the same language. They were speaking Hausa, which was also my language, but I guess they didn't know. C had asked G if someone was ready, and C had said yes. They didn't say anything again for some time. And then C asked G if everything they needed was available, and G responded yes. And at this point, they were still speaking Hausa. Something felt off, and I should have trusted my intuition. The energy in the room had changed. They were not talking as much as they did when we entered, and the only language they were speaking now was Hausa. I was done with C's makeup at this point. When I asked her if she liked it, she only nodded and stood up. She didn't say anything else. She didn't even take the mirror I was offering her to look at her face. She just went to sit on the sofa. I don't know why, but something told me to text my brother to come and pick me up since we were almost done. I texted him and I should have added that I was uncomfortable and that something felt off so that he would hurry. He told me it was a bit far from where we were and that he would be coming soon. I went back and started working on G's makeup. The whole room was quiet. C was just sitting down, staring into the distance. I was doing G's highlight and contour when she received a phone call and the only thing she said was okay in Hausa. She then turned to C and told her it's almost there, and C smiled. About 2 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. C went to open the door, and a tall man entered. He didn't greet us or say anything to us. He just went inside the house. After some time, he went outside the house again. Now, my assistant had not noticed the change in the house, and she also didn't speak Hausa. But me, I just wanted to finish what I was doing fast so that we can leave. Something was feeling off, but I just didn't know what. She went inside the house and came back with a black polythene bag. She started taking chicken feathers out and started arranging them on a black tray. She turned to G and told her this was going to be the best year yet since the sacrifice was perfect. She said this in Hausa. My mind was racing. What sacrifice are they talking about? Now, at this point, I was done with G's makeup. I was spraying her face when G said in Hausa that she picked the right sacrifice, and the sacrifice even brought an extra. I was still trying to control myself and to continue acting as if I didn't understand what they were saying. I was asking myself if my assistant and I were the sacrifice they were talking about. G didn't even look into the mirror too. She asked me to wait and that she was going to take my money for me. All of a sudden, the front door opened and the man entered inside, holding a machete wrapped with a red cloth. Now, my assistant was also beginning to suspect something was wrong. G turned to the man and asked him if he had brought everything, and he nodded. He gave the machete to G and went back outside. My assistant was visibly shaking. She came to me and asked me what was going on. I told her I didn't know. I took my phone to call my brother, but his number was busy. I texted him to hurry and that I felt like I was in danger. Now at this point, C and G were inside the house. G had told me to wait and that she was going inside for the money. All my things were packed and I was just waiting for my money to leave the place. A few minutes later, the man came back inside the house with a huge clay pot covered with red markings and cowries. He had changed into a long red gown and he had a red cloth tied around his head. He was also holding a small knife. Without looking at us, he entered into the house. That was the last straw. My assistant and I grabbed our bags and ran out of the house. Luckily, the front gate was unlocked. We kept running for about 2 minutes with the heavy bags. We hid behind the store and I called my brother again and again, but he wasn't picking up. My heart was pounding. I kept calling my brother's number, but still no response. I don't know why, but something clicked in my mind immediately. G went through my Instagram page before he contacted me. Now, I have a lot of videos on my page where I was speaking Hausa. She should have known from my page that I will understand everything she was saying to C. It was as if she wanted me to understand her. Also, if they wanted to use us as sacrifices, why was the door unlocked? It was as if they wanted us to run away scared. It felt like the whole thing was a scam. Because nothing made sense, I decided to walk back to the house as I continued calling and texting my brother. My assistants did not go with me because she really believed they were going to sacrifice us. So I left her behind with the bags. When I got to the house, I was scared to go inside. I was thinking of what to do when I saw my brother's car coming. I started jumping and waving. His phone had been on silent. That is why he didn't hear my calls. He parked and got out and asked me what was going on. I told him everything and I told him I believed they were scammers. He took out his gun and went to the main gate, but it was still open. And when we entered into the house, there was nobody there. They were all gone and the wigs were also gone. It turned out the house did not even belong to them. The owner had traveled and she didn't even know how they were able to enter inside. Only God knows what I went through after this, but I didn't give up. Things got better and right now my business is booming. I just wanted to share this story to tell business owners out there to be careful and to trust their instincts. Hey, this coming is on another level. Oh. Things are happening. Oh. See how far they went to scam this woman. Please be safe out there. And babe, I'm so sorry for what you went through. I thank God they didn't physically harm you and your assistant. And thank God your business is booming right now. Ah, the story is so sad. 18,000 plus. That is a lot of money. Oh. Hey. This woman doesn't need any advice because she went through this last year. So if you have any opinions about this story, write it down. She'll be in the comment section reading your comments. Hey. I feel so sad for the woman. But I'm happy her business is doing well. Now let's move on to story number 2. I am a 24 years old woman, single, with no child when I met this man. He's 27 years old with a child. He's also a truck driver. I met him not too long ago. Let's say somewhere in March this year. And we started dating a month ago. So he wanted me to go and see his family members so that he will also come and see mine as well. I have told myself I don't want a man with a child. But this man has been amazing. He is caring, a provider, loving and kind. Now, my problem is that he has a baby mama. And I am not saying he shouldn't talk to this baby mama. But the problem is that whenever I'm around and his baby mama calls him, he will never pick the call, but will call her later. I know the password to his phone and go through his WhatsApp with her sometimes. And from their chats, it's as if they are still together. Because how can you tell me you are not on good terms with your baby mama and you still go and rent a house for her and you are paying her bills too? Before he used to post her on his TikTok page, I confronted him and at first he told me she's just a co-worker who used to work at his old workplace, not knowing she was the baby mama. Before anyone will say I am a bad person, mind you, the baby is not even with this lady. The baby is with a guy's woman, and he used to send the child 30 cedis every day. And I even told him to increase it to 70 cedis, and he did. I am not saying he can't take care of his own child, but the child is with his mom. Now, I have also told this guy to go and check his genotype, and I have told him that if he doesn't go and check the genotype, I will quit the relationship with him because I am AC and I am only supposed to marry AA. What should I do? Should I quit the relationship because of the baby mama? I don't know what to do. Okay, babe. Number one, you should know his baby mama is always going to be in his life because of the child they have together. But you are right. It looks like something more is going on between them. Even though their child is not even staying with her, something is definitely going on. And to me, this is enough reason for you to leave him. Also, you are very right about the genotype thing. He needs to go and check his because your kids are going to be at risk if it's not AA. He needs to go and check first. And if he's AA and you still want to be with him, then sit him down and set your boundaries. Tell him you're not okay with his relationship with his baby mama. If he claims there's nothing going on between them, then he should abstain from her. After all, his mom is taking care of the child. But in all, babe, I think you should preserve your peace. Leave before things get too complicated. You said you only started dating a month ago, so you can still cut your losses and deep. This baby mama is always going to be in his life. Oh. And I'm sure there's something more going on. At the end of the day, the decision is up to you. Now, if you have any advice or opinions about this story, just write story number 2. Leave your advice or opinions. The sender is going to be in the comment section reading your comments. Let's move on to story number 3. I am a lady in my mid-late 20s. Here is my issue. I have 2 guys in my life. Let's call them Guy A and Guy B. A has been asking me out for like 5 years now, but I don't feel anything for him. The truth is that I don't love him. He always moves on, but anytime his relationships go wrong, he will come back to me to blame me for what is happening in his love life. He will say if only I had accepted him, he wouldn't be going through all this. The fact is that my mind is not going to change about him because from the way he behaves, it looks like he just wants to have sex with me. I told him the last time he blamed me for his relationship failure that he should forget about me since he will never get me. Now, the thing is, I'm in love with Guy B and he loves me too, but he's scared of what Guy A will think about him. Mind you, the 2 of them are friends, but I haven't done anything with any of them. Guy B said he doesn't want Guy A to feel bad about him, and also the boys will be like, he knew Guy A likes me, and now he's coming for me. For me, I wanted to come out and talk to Guy A, but he hasn't been picking my calls because I traveled to a no-network area. And since he didn't hear from me for days, he claims I'm ignoring him, and I don't want to text him about the issue too, since I want to talk to him on the phone. Guy B is telling me not to talk about it to him. He said he will talk to him himself, but I know that is going to be difficult for him to do. I seriously want to forget about both of them, but I can't forget Guy B. And I don't know what to do. Please advise me. You are not kids anymore, so I think Guy B should manner. It is not like Guy A is your ex. If that were to be the case, I would understand why Guy B is hesitating. If Guy B really loves you like the way you say, and he wants to be with you, then he should talk to Guy A. He should talk to Guy A privately and tell him about his feelings for you. Whether Guy A accepts it or not, that is up to him. You guys don't owe him anything. And like you said, it's clear he just wants to sleep with you. Stop postponing your happiness for a guy you've never even dated. If Guy B can't talk to Guy A, then maybe he prefers or prioritizes his relationship with Guy A over his relationship with you. It means he's not serious enough about you. He doesn't love you enough. And if that is the case, then try to move on. If you don't, you just be wasting your time. If you have any advice or opinions for this sender, just write story number 3 and leave your advice or opinions. She's going to be in the comment section reading your comments. And like always, remember your advice and opinions really matter. It is because of you, it is because of you that they are sending the stories over to me in the first place. So don't forget to leave them down below. Because I can see that some of you will watch the video and then you go to my TikTok to leave your comments there. Please leave it under my YouTube video. You can still go and comment on TikTok, but make sure you leave your opinions under the YouTube video too. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to send me your own story, you can send it to my TikTok page at vera.h. I'm going to leave it on the screen for you. Just write out your story and send it to me. Now, before I go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. It is very important too. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Okay, I'm done. Bye.